Ladies and gentlemen, I managed to get hands on the 15 points demand by US to Iran. And I also got Iran's demand from US. And I think we should analyze it and see what does this mean for the stock market and the oil market moving forward. And you can see for yourself what is the likely outcome. Please watch till the end. So Donald Trump, for the last few days, has been giving the world and investors and politicians the talk of peace possibility between the two countries, and he submitted proposal to end the war to Iran through proxies. I think it's Pakistan. And I'll just say this in a summary, in two words: fat hope, fat hope. And unfortunately, his talks of peace and proposal, which he keep it as a mystery, has now come out in the open. And it's very clear that that won't happen in an easy way. And some investors are being burnt and conned because they believe that things are going to get better. So I'll give you the full detail and you judge for yourself. Please remember to hit subscribe and like as we unfold all these things in a real-time basis. Don't miss it. Opportunities are coming out real-time and I'll inform you guys. So in a summary, that the talks of US and Iran having the possibility of peace talk is all a facade and a mirage that Donald Trump has given. Now, it did successfully bring down oil prices just for a while. It's now creeping back again. Now, he's going to do it again and again. And unfortunately, investors are going to believe him. And that caused a lot of people to lose money. Well, this is a strategic manipulation of not just Iran, but also investors. And if you were to take a look at what the US wants versus what the Iranian wants, the gap is very, very wide. It's literally unbridgeable. There's no way they can come in between. So we shall see in detail what does this mean. So in a nutshell, the United States want rapid de-escalation and they want containment. Of course, they want objective such as curtailing the power of the Iranians, but they clearly have one huge weakness is that they cannot have a long-drawn war. It's not good politically, it's not good strategically, and Donald Trump knows that, and the Iranian knows that Donald Trump knows that as well, and is playing them out. So the Iranian, on the other hand, clearly want a long-term leverage and survival outcome out of this. And they got patience. They are able to take on blows like Mike Tyson. And this is something they'll play to their advantage. This is no longer just a disagreement over terms. This is a disagreement over positions. This is a disagreement over strategic outcomes. And right now, the Iranians does have an upper hand. So the US position, in summary, means they want nuclear disarmament, regional de-escalation, and they want stability as the Straits of Hormuz remain choked. They want to be open. These are the 15 points demand that the United States wants. And I want you to take a look at it very, very clearly with a critical, logical mind. Number one, they want complete disarmament of Iran. So Iran must dismantle all the existing nuclear capability. And to be frank, all the capability are bombed to kingdom comes already. So Iran must commit never to pursue nuclear weapons. There will be no uranium enrichment on Iranian territory. Iran must hand over its stockpile of approximately 450 kilograms of uranium enriched to 60%, okay, on the timetable to be agreed. And Natanz, Isfahan, and Fordow nuclear facility must be dismantled. Actually, all this nuclear facility has been bombed to the ground already. I don't know why it's still asking for them to do. So the IAEA, the International Atomic Agency, must be allowed full access and transparency and oversight to Iran. And so that's on the nuclear side of things, because the nuclear existence of nuclear weapon capability will give Israel an existential risk. Now, on the other hand, Iran must also abandon its regional proxy strategy. It's funding a lot of regional countries in Middle East against Israel and to some extent against the United States. And Iran must cease to continue this kind of funding and weapons providence and things like that. And the third one is the maritime access of the Straits of Hormuz must remain free and open. And they will also want the military capability of Iran to be curtailed, with thresholds now predetermined by United States. And the future use of missiles, okay, can only be up to a level whereby it is restricted to self-defense. In concession, Iran will be given a full lifting of international sanctions, and the United States will assist Iran in advancing its civilian nuclear program, including electricity generation in its nuclear plant, and a lot of the sanction mechanism would be removed. I don't know whether you can see it, but to me, okay, this sounds like Russia and US asking Ukraine last time to give up its nuclear capability. And after Ukraine agreed to give up its nuclear capability, it lost its ability to protect itself. Now it's under attack by the Russians, and they are stuck in a terrible war. So you tell me whether Iranians will give up the ability to defend itself and to choke the Straits of Hormuz. I don't think so. On the other hand, Iranians' position is this: we want our regime to be able to survive. I want all you guys to stop firing, ceasefire, and I want guarantee that you will not be able to hit back at us, compensation for all the damages you've given. We want the authority to continue to control Hormuz, and right now they are able to impose tolls, charges for ships that are going through, and this is now becoming a choke weapon. And finally, they want all US military to exit from the Gulf. This means that the reign of petrodollar will go away. That means that the Gulf countries will have no more military protection, and the Gulf countries will be wondering then why the hell I want to live to the US demands of using the US dollar just only for petrol and oil. So I think the gap is just too wide. Right? It's just too wide. Okay. So I clearly think that there's no way US will give up. Even if US want to give up, there's no way they can give up all these things. Even if Trump wants to chicken out, he can't chicken out right now. So US is being trapped by themselves, by the way. Okay. So this is poor planning by the United States. And there's no reason why Iran want to give up their position. They are in a position of superiority in negotiations. Why would they give up? So clearly, all these demands that Iran wants in an 8-point demand is something that the United States are unable to give in. So as I said, the gap, the chasm is too wide. So there is no way they can come to a conclusion that is acceptable to either party. So the only outcome is military conflict in a continued way or even an escalated way. So for those people who are thinking that there's going to be a quick resolution, a peace agreement, I think that there's a Singapore phrase and a Malaysian phrase, you wait long, okay, tang ku for this. So what is US weakness? Trump's urgency to close this thing as quick as possible, and news are leaking out that he's telling his close aides that he wants this thing to be settled as quick as possible. And trust me, if Mr. Lu, a minion, were to know this, the Iranians know this better than I do. So this is now a clear signal that Donald Trump is desperate. There are a couple of reasons why he's desperate. Number one, the longer it drags, the more money it burns, and Trump hates burning money. Number two, he needs more funding from Congress, and if Congress will not approve his $200 billion war funding, he will be in trouble. Number three, he has got he has got midterm elections coming in November. And if inflation were to creep up in a major way, the whole of the Republican Party will lose the midterm election, and that spells basically end of the entire Republican career. So the Democrats will take over. What has gotten him to power is because during Biden time, there was a massive inflation. Now the reverse is going to happen to him. And he knows that, and he's desperate to de-escalate. And the only way he can de-escalate is to give in to Iran's terms, and almost none of the terms that the Iranian wants can be given in. So he's in a fix. So meanwhile, the world sits and watch, and many investors doesn't know that in detail, but 40% of the Gulf refining capability has now been damaged. And 17% of Qatar gas production is now permanently destroyed, and they'll take 5 years or more to restore. Even if the war were to stop now and shipments are allowed to pass by, 11 million barrels per day has been destroyed, and it will take 3 years recovery time. All this news just came out from France in a realistic assessment. And I think this is a real and clear problem for the world, even if the war were to stop. So I think it's a foregone conclusion that we will have an inflationary environment. And this is clearly a real problem, especially for Southeast Asia, who is running out of oil. So I think the optimism that Donald Trump has given falsely to the world, that number one, Iran is talking to us. Number two, we are now negotiating Iran. Number three, things are going to end very quickly. I think we have to be careful not to be misled by him and get burned in our knee-jerk reaction to this market. I would just say this, it is very likely that things can explode very quickly and things can resolve very quickly. If he is desperate, he have to give in to some of the terms, although I don't think so. Let me just spell it very clearly. A long-drawn war favors the Iranians, and they're going to play this to their advantage. The longer they pull the timeline longer, the more it drains the US political will and get Donald Trump more and more desperate. So the longer it draws, the higher the oil prices will get as well, and there will be a lot of negotiation fatigue to the United States. So time is in the Iranians' advantage, and they will exploit it to their advantage. And this time around, it is a very serious thing. The Gulf countries in particular, you have got Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE is also fearful that the Iranians will be able to take control of the Straits of Hormuz in the long term, and for the Americans to give in to the Iranians, and they are telling the Americans don't do so. So this is an impossible situation to bridge unless the Iranians chicken out. I don't think so. I don't think the Iranians, being a warrior class tribe, will give in so fast. And this represents their survival in the long term. They have one opportunity given in 50 years to turn the table around. You think they'll give it up? So just to be very clear, what about the military strike that the United States wanted to attack? Well, I'll just say this. I've watched all the military experts give assessment of the possibility of all military maneuvers and positions. I'll just say this. There are no good outcome for the United States. They can seize the position. They can't defend it without loss of lives, loss of infrastructure, loss of possibly shipping. So it is very difficult to secure those positions, be it the coast of the Straits of Hormuz, Krk Island, and so on. So I think the Americans know that as well. So they are not going to be able to pursue on easily. So taking a step back, be careful in falling to the trap of this peace talk. Now, clearly, Donald Trump knows how to play that very well in tariff negotiations and so on. But this is no longer tariff negotiation. This is war. And Trump is very good with business talks, but I don't think he's very good in war and military positioning. And as a result, I think it's very clear that he underestimated the formidability of the Iranians. So things are happening on the fly. So let's watch on very clearly. Well, there are a lot of scenarios that can happen. On the base case, my assessment is that this thing will just go on with a lot of in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, up, down, up, down, up, down. Donald Trump continue to con the market, continue to try to con the Iranians. The Iranians basically have come out and just said, to hell with you, this is my third finger, and so on. This will go up and down. A lot of people, the whole market will go up and down, up and down. And gradually, everybody will see through, and there's no good outcome of this. This is the base case I have. Now, could things worsen? Yes. Okay. The Straits of Hormuz intensify the disruption. Oil price continue to spike. Global recession will happen next. But this one will require a drag on for months, many months. Well, if this happened, I think it will be a disaster scenario. Now, what about suddenly Donald Trump say, okay, Iranians, I give in to you. Or the Iranians say, okay, Donald Trump, I'm scared of you. I give in to you. Suddenly, there'll be a major de-escalation and peace and good days are ahead. Sunshine and rainbows will be coming out in every way. What's the chance of that happening? You assess for yourself. So oil prices remains dangerously high and will go up higher. Inflation will start stepping in. Southeast Asia is running out of oil and gas already. And even Singapore, which has reserve, can't last forever as well. Malaysia, even though they are a net producer of oil, they also will experience this spike in gas, and they have to produce more subsidy to fund the RON 95 petrol for the rest of their country. And central banks will start stopping rate cut and maybe even increase interest rate. And this will cause equities to fall. And we in our region will get hit. So my final assessment is there's no easy exit out of this. The only way is for Trump to majorly chicken out, majorly give in to Iranians. And has that happened before? Well, maybe not the United States under Trump regime, but United States stepping away from Afghanistan is a major giving in. The Iraq-Iranian war in the 1980s, eventually the Iraq gave in to the Iranians. The Iranians are known for a tough fight and can last for a very long time. So this long-drawn conflict is not a risk possibility. It is the base case. It's likely to happen, and Donald Trump knows that. So this is a case where he 进退两难,骑虎难下. So basically, it means that, he's stuck. Whether he advance or give in, they're all not easy decisions. We shall see whether he's capable of making some very tough decisions to end this thing quickly. If not, I think it's disaster for many parts of the world, including the US. So finally, I'll just say this. What should we do? Well, I'll just say this. Opportunities come for those who are prepared. And those people who miss the opportunities because you're unprepared. We watch for the possibility, and I'll try to give people an update again tonight in a live stream. Tonight, I'll surely do a live stream. Yesterday, please forgive me, my crash buying course overran. There was just 100 people getting very excited, asking me non-stop a lot of questions. I'll try to be very exhaustive in providing everyone as much updates as I can. Okay? So I'll see you tonight at 11 p.m. in my live stream. Thank you. And remember, hit subscribe and goodbye.